Good morning. This is encouragement and motivation from my heart, and I am excited because this is the start of new year. And with new year, that always means new growth, new learning, and new people that I get to meet and that God will bring along my way. Today, this one is titled Not Meant to Do It Alone. And I'm going to start out by sharing something that I found in my devotion that I thought was really interesting, and it's out of Exodus chapter 18. I could just read you the verse of where we're going at, but sometimes if you just read the verse, you miss the whole context of what the verse is talking about. So we're going to read a little bit out of Exodus 18, just a short snippet, and then we will talk about it. So in chapter 18, Exodus, this is Jethro's visit. So Jethro is Moses' father-in-law. And Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, the priest of the Midian, heard about everything that God had done for Moses and for God's people of Israel when the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt. Now Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had taken in Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, along with her two sons, one of whom was named Gershon, because Moses had said, I've been a resident alien in a foreign land, and the other Eleazar, because he had said, the God of my father was my helper, had rescued me from Pharaoh's sword. So Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, along with Moses' wife and sons, came to him in the wilderness, where he was camped in the mountain of God. He sent word to Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and your two sons. So Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down, and then kissed him. They asked each other how they had been and went into the tent. Moses recounted to his father-in-law all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardships that confronted them on their way, and how the Lord rescued them. So first he informs Jethro all the good things that God has done. Jethro rejoiced over all the good things the Lord has done for Israel when he rescued them from the power of the Egyptians. Blessed be the Lord, Jethro exclaimed, who rescued you from the power of Egypt and from the power of Pharaoh. He's rescued the people from under the power of Egypt. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, because he did wonders when the Egyptians acted arrogantly against Israel. So then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and sacrifices to God, and Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat a meal with Moses' father-in-law in God's presence. All right, so then we skip down. So it just talks about how Moses began doing his job. So it says the next day Moses sat down to judge the people. That was what God told him he wanted him to do as far as the jobs and things that they did. They stood around Moses from morning until evening. When Moses' father-in-law saw everything that he was doing for them, he asked, what is this thing you're doing for the people? Why are you alone, sitting as a judge, while all the people stand around you from morning until evening? Moses replied to his father-in-law, because the people come to me to inquire of God. Whenever they have a dispute, it comes to me, and I make a decision between one man and another. I teach them God's statutes and laws. So Moses isn't doing anything wrong, really, with it, because he's teaching them, and he's doing what God told him to do. What you're doing is not good, Moses' father-in-law said to him. You will certainly wear out both yourself and these people who are with you, because the task is too heavy for you. You can't do it alone. I lost my place. Now listen to me. I will give you some advice, and God be with you. You be the one to represent the people before God. Bring their cases to him. Instruct them about the statutes and the laws, and teach them the way to live and what they must do. But you should select from all the people able men, God-fearing, trustworthy, and hating dishonest profit. Place them over the people as commanders of thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They should judge the people at all times. Then they can bring you every major case, but judge every minor case themselves. And this way, you will lighten your load, and they will bear it with you. If you do this, and God so directs you, you'll be able to endure, and also all these people will be able to go home satisfied. So Moses listened to his father-in-law, did everything he said. Moses chose a people, and it goes on. So why this? Well, first, I thought it was kind of cool because the way that it's instructed in here is kind of how our military is structured today. But it's also, if you think about it, kind of how a church is structured as well. So 3 questions that I'm going to have for you today. What are you doing in your life right now? What areas are overwhelming? And who can you bring alongside you to not only help carry the load, but also you can train and teach. So what do I mean by that? What are you doing in your life right now? When you examine your life, whether it be physically, emotionally, mentally, in your work, in your job, in church, at home life, whatever the case may be, what is it that you're doing in your life right now? Are there any areas that are overwhelming? Because it's those areas that you have to look and say, ask yourself, okay, is there somebody that I can teach and that I can help bring alongside me to help lighten the load? The third thing, who can you bring alongside you to not only help you to carry the load, but also you can train and teach? As adults, we're preparing and training kids to be successful. Not only that, whether you are a kid or an adult, we all have individuals that look up to us. They look to see how we're doing life. So what is it that we are teaching them? When we, as adults, when we go throughout our life, whether we realize it or not, we are actually teaching young kids how to be successful in life and how to be leaders in the world. Or are we teaching them just how to survive instead of thrive and teach? If you're teaching individuals just how to survive, then are they going to be able to endure what's to come in the world? As kids, are we just playing along in life, hoping that things will be handed to you and then you'll be successful? Or are you learning? Are you taking the moment that you have to learn everything that you can in church and in school? Are you growing? Because you can learn and memorize all day long. I did that a lot in high school. But you need to grow. And then the next thing is, are you teaching those younger than you? I can say from having a teenager myself that sometimes the younger kids can be annoying. But we need to look at that as teaching, a time to teach and a time to help them learn and to help them grow. So today, I want you to think, and I want you to focus on learning something new every single day, growing in it, teaching it to someone else. Look around yourself today and ask, are you learning? Are you growing? And are you teaching? Who can you share what you have learned and grown in? Whether that be at work or at home, who can you bring alongside you to help you carry the load of which you're overwhelmed in and that you're doing in life? And if you're not overwhelmed, or if you don't look around and you see that there's nothing that overwhelms you, then either one, you're not challenging yourself, or two, you're already doing what I'm talking about today. So teach somebody else how to do it. This is encouragement and motivation from my heart. And today I pray that this message inspire you, motivate you, and empower you to teach the next generation to not only help yourself by learning and growing, but also teach someone else to be able to help themselves. I hope you guys have a great day. This is encouragement and motivation from my heart.